everyone, it's Jonas, and well, as to where I am not in Treforest right now. I'm just outside the town of Baglan in South Wales, and I'm paying a visit to one of the most important research centres in the Renewable Energy and Resource Management course, which is the Hydrogen Research Centre here, the town of Baglan. Research Centre is managed by the university, and that's the entrance right there. So in a few minutes I'll be talking to some lecturers, and some lecturers of mine, especially the ones that are doing the hydrogen module. So we have a hydrogen module where we just talk about hydrogen production, storage, distribution, and end use, and hopefully we could learn more about the fuel of the future using this vlog. Right, catch you later. Hello everyone, I'm here now at the Hydrogen Research Centre at Baglan, and with me is one of my lecturers, Dr. Steve Carr.
Hello.
Steve, so what can you tell us about this building behind me?
This is the Hydrogen Research Centre, located at Baglan Bay Energy Park near Port Talbot. So we're a research and demonstration centre, so we demonstrate technologies associated with hydrogen energy storage, particularly electrolyzers and fuel cells.
Right.
So the building you can see behind you is our main office building. So we have some conference space and office space in here.
Right.
Out the back we have another building, which is the lab building, which has our equipment inside it.
Right.
At the building itself we have a photovoltaic panel on the roof which has about 20 kilowatts of power it can produce, and we use that to both put electricity back onto the grid and to produce hydrogen within the centre.
Right. Very interesting. So this building has been in use by the university since...
So I think it's about 8 years now we've been in use for, so yeah, it's been around for a little while now.
Right.
Yeah, it was built with, I think, some funding from the university and some other funding as well. So about 8 years.
As I understand, because I went here before, and back then we had a demonstration about a car, hydrogen fuel car.
Yeah, so we have a hydrogen refueling station at the back, so if you were to own a hydrogen powered vehicle you could come here and refuel that with hydrogen. So we'll have a look at that later.
Right.
But yeah, we now have a few regular customers who do come here with hydrogen powered vehicles and refuel with us. So particularly the South Wales Fire Brigade have a couple of Hyundai fuel cell vehicles which they're using regularly now.
Okay.
And another company located in Mid Wales comes down and fuels with us quite a bit as well. So we're the only real refueling station in South Wales, so we have a few clients for that.
Alright, so let's take a look over there then.
Okay.
Alright, so this is the hydrogen refueling facility here at the Hydrogen Research Centre in Baglan. So this particular machine, what do we have here, Steve?
So this is the kind of control panel for our hydrogen refueling unit. So if you're going to come with the vehicle, you would attach your vehicle to the hydrogen storage with a hose.
Right.
Then you would start the process going on this screen here. So this is the kind of control aspect. If you go over here, you can see this is the actual hydrogen refueling unit.
Right.
So there's a compressor in there which compresses the hydrogen to the right pressure level, so you can fit enough of it into your car. It kind of compresses a lot of hydrogen to a small volume so you can fill your car up to a reasonable amount. So there's a hose which we attach the hose to the car, we press go, and it compresses hydrogen into the car then. Do you want to have a look at the hose? That's
sure.
So we don't actually have a hydrogen car with us today to show, but this is essentially the process.
Wow.
It'd just be like your normal fuel tank in a normal petrol car. It's got a nozzle, you attach it on, turn it round, it's sealed then. You can leave it, you can press go, and you can then refuel your car in about maybe 5 minutes. It's the total process to do that. So it's not too much longer than with petrol or diesel.
Right.
Tank.
So what do you think are the advantages of having this over like diesel, in your opinion?
Over diesel, the main advantage is that there's no pollutants at all from a hydrogen fuel cell car. Out of the tailpipe, it is only water which comes out.
Right.
So that's the main advantage for hydrogen.
Wow.
how you make the hydrogen, there might be some greenhouse gases associated with making the hydrogen. If you make it renewably, there isn't any, but with the actual use of the hydrogen to power the car, there's absolutely no pollutants produced. So that would be the main advantage.
Okay, cool.
Over electric vehicles, it would be the refueling time would be one of the main advantages. So charging your electric car will take considerably longer than recharging a hydrogen car for the same distance of travel.
Yeah, and well, based on our researches on transport, hydrogen is better than battery-powered cars, right?
Well, it depends on the use. So battery vehicles might be more suitable for smaller vehicles going shorter distances. So maybe a town car, a city car, the battery vehicle might be the best for that. For going longer distances, maybe distances around the journeys around the country, you might want to look at a hydrogen vehicle. So it's not really a case of better or worse, it's a case of different alternatives for different uses. Right. The heavier the vehicle, the better hydrogen tends to be.
Right. So that's good. Okay. So let's see how hydrogen is produced here. Before we go to hydrogen production, I'd like to give you a preview of what these are. So the one to their left, or basically the one right in front of you, are what, Steve?
So to the left is our medium pressure hydrogen storage. So in these tanks we store hydrogen once we've produced it at pressures of about 200 bar, so about 200 atmospheres.
Right.
You can't see, but we have just behind that 4 cylinders which are capable of storing up to 400 bar. So that's our kind of high pressure storage at the moment.
Right. And
we're in the process of upgrading the whole centre so we can go up to 700 bar. So that's a new refuelling standard for vehicles, allowing you to put so much more amount of hydrogen in a smaller space when we go to 700 bar.
Right. And these ones are?
So these are compressed nitrogen. So some of our sensor equipment needs a small flow of nitrogen through it to make it work. And also whenever we start our equipment up, we have to purge it with nitrogen sometimes to make sure there's a non-explosive atmosphere. So these 2 banks are our nitrogen supply.
Nice. Okay, now we can head on to the hydrogen production then. So we're now inside the hydrogen production building, and right here is what we have.
So this is our main electrolyzer.
Right.
It's an alkaline electrolyzer. It can produce, make sure I get this right, it's about 10 millimeters cubed of hydrogen an hour, which is roughly a kilogram an hour of hydrogen. It takes about 50 kilowatts of power to do that.
Right. And for what the tanks outside, how many hours do you need? Probably?
So it takes us a few days to completely fill our tanks outside, maybe 2 or 3 days to completely fill our tanks outside.
Okay.
So you can see in this, at the bottom is the electrolysis stack, so that's where the actual electrolysis, the splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen using electricity, that's where that takes place.
Right.
So at the moment we get our electricity from the electricity grid.
Okay.
That is then converted into DC power, and we use that to split the water into hydrogen and oxygen. We let the oxygen go out to the atmosphere, we don't store that, and we let the hydrogen then go to our compressor, we compress it and we then store it outside.
Right. Wow.
Here we're not directly making hydrogen from renewable power, we're taking our electricity from the electricity grid.
Right.
So any carbon dioxide emissions associated with power production on the grid, you can say they're also associated with our hydrogen, so our hydrogen isn't completely green. What we'd like to do in the future is look at completely renewable hydrogen, so from renewable power. Then you can say that hydrogen is completely green.
So one of the strategies for that includes improving the solar panels, I guess?
Not necessarily improving the solar panels, it's more about the kind of the linkage and the control between the electricity and the electrolyzer. Right. So at the moment, if you take your electricity from the grid, you've got a nice, stable, constant supply of electricity. If you take it from your solar panels, you have an input which is going up and down depending on how sunny it is, whether there's clouds coming over, and that can cause some problems with the operation of the electrolyzer. These aren't unsolvable problems, they can be done, it's just a bit more complicated at the moment. We don't do that. Right. So it's a simpler system to take the electricity from the grid. So the solar panels we have on our roof, they actually go onto the grid, the power we produce goes onto the grid, then we take power back from the grid to produce our hydrogen. So there's a bit of a disconnect there.
Right. So I understand this is just one of two electrolyzers that we have here.
That's right. So this is an alkaline technology electrolyzer. We also have a PEM, which is a proton exchange membrane electrolyzer, which we operate as well, which is slightly smaller than this.
Right. So we'll go head on over there. That over there was the electrolyzer that we were looking for, the alkaline electrolyzer. So we have a smaller one, which is the PEM electrolyzer. So what can we learn from this one, Steve?
So this is roughly a quarter of the size in terms of hydrogen production to our alkaline unit. It uses a different type of technology, so proton exchange membrane, which has the potential to be maybe integrated better with renewable sources. It can take a variable input. It's better able to take a variable input.
Right.
So we have this electrolyzer, which we can also compress the hydrogen we produce and put it into our storage outside as well.
Okay. But unlike the big one, how long will it take to fill the tanks?
Oh, so this is producing at about a quarter of the rate, so you're talking a week or more to fill our tanks outside.
Right.
It's always good to have two systems in case we have a problem with one. We can always produce from the other, so it's kind of like having a backup as well.
Right.
That's another reason to have it.
Well, which one runs more, I guess, in a day-to-day basis? This one, or?
At the moment, we run our alkaline electrolyzer as our main unit, just because of the size of it. It's so much bigger. Yeah, that's our main unit at the moment.
Okay. But the two of them run at the same time, right?
We can run them at the same time, yeah. So both of these they feed into the same compressor. So they both produce at roughly 10 bar pressure. So the hydrogen comes out of these electrolyzers at about 10 atmospheres of pressure, 10 bar. That then goes into our compressor inside, which compresses it up to 200 bar for our storage outside.
Okay.
So they both feed into the same line into our compressor.
Right. Interesting. Right. Thank you.
Do you want to have a look at the compressor?
Oh yeah, the compressor. I forgot.
So obviously, if we produced the hydrogen, we didn't compress it at all.
Yeah.
It would take up a very large volume of space
Right.
to store it, which is impractical. So if we compress it to 200 atmospheres or 200 bar, it takes up 200 times less volume approximately.
Right.
So you saw the size of our storage outside. 200 times that would be huge, it would be impractical, so we have to compress it.
Okay.
So we compress it here, it takes an input of about 10 bar, compresses it to 200 bar, and then goes outside to the storage.
Okay. Right. Cool. So just to recap, these things, these electrolyzers, produce the hydrogen in this facility, which are compressed over here, and then are sent to the storage tanks outside, ready for use.
You want to see the fuel cell as well?
Yeah, sure.
Once we've made the hydrogen, there are two things we can do with it. We can either use it to fill up cars,
Right.
hydrogen cars, or we can use it to power the building here.
Right.
So this is a fuel cell which takes hydrogen from our storage outside, combines it with oxygen from the atmosphere, and then produces electricity and water. So that electricity then can be used to either go back onto the electricity network, we can put it back there, or we can power our appliances, our computers, our lights in the main building out in the lab as well.
Right. So this one is also a PEM, right?
Also a PEM, yeah.
Yeah, also a PEM.
So it's very similar to what you find in a fuel cell car, very
Right.
similar technology.
Right. Wow. Okay. Thank you. We'll head back to the main building so that we can ask more questions and get to know more about hydrogen from the experts. So to cap off my trip here in the Hydrogen Research Facility in Baglan, I'm here with John Maddy, head of the Hydrogen Research Lab in Baglan, as well as one of our module leaders in the Renewable Energy and Resource Management course. What do you think are the university's aims for this center?
The aims of the centre really are to take forward the whole idea of hydrogen technology and to bridge the gap between university research and take it forward to the market.
Right.
So the whole purpose of the centre really is to work with industrial partners,
Right.
and to try and conduct research that allows us to take that hydrogen technology towards market, or at least to approach that
Right.
that route. We've got a strong focus, as you've seen, on electrolytic hydrogen production, and that is very much tied in with the idea of producing hydrogen as a result of renewable, or capturing renewable electricity. And largely that the whole purpose for the centre was that there was a gap in the market, a gap in the whole area of working in this space between universities and industry in the hydrogen area. The other purpose really is to try and act as a catalyst for setting up hydrogen, particularly hydrogen vehicle operations, and that's why we put in a hydrogen refueling station here, and now why we're upgrading the hydrogen fueling station. So the intention is to not just run our own vehicle trials when we can do that, but also, and more importantly now, to work with third parties, particularly industry or public sector partners, to fill and get experience of filling, operating hydrogen vehicles, and thereby to reduce their carbon footprint as a result of doing that. So that's on the one hand allowing organisations to buy hydrogen vehicles, particularly from some of the large OEMs that have hydrogen vehicles. One example of that is the Mid and West Wales Fire Service now have 2 Hyundai hydrogen vehicles that they have started filling here, and we're going to start in earnest over the next couple of months, particularly as we increase or improve and upgrade the hydrogen filling station.
Okay.
So, sorry, I'm off camera.
Oh, sorry, it's all right.
That's one approach. The other approach is to ensure that we can stimulate development of new hydrogen vehicles, and so we're working with well, I'll mention one company in particular, working with a company called River Simple, who are developing a small 2-seater hydrogen vehicle.
Right.
They're Mid Wales based, and they conduct some of their filling here, but we've also now got a test rig which is intended to try and allow high pressure testing of high pressure hydrogen components. And that's again a gap in the market. There's no test house in the UK that allows the certified testing of hydrogen components for hydrogen vehicles.
Right.
So we acknowledge that at this stage the test, well, in fact we're just about to commission the test facility here, that won't allow full certification, but we intend to move towards that so that we can certify components and then get them introduced into hydrogen vehicles. And the idea with that really is supporting the research and development of lightweight, effective high pressure hydrogen components for integration into vehicles.
Right.
But especially for UK manufacturers. So as I say, no test facility in the UK that allows that, and this is a chance to do that. And it builds on the not just the expertise here, but also the physical equipment that we've got here. And in a way a unique setting, because although there are other universities that have hydrogen filling stations, most of those have either closed or are more limited in their scope. The setup here was always intended that, whilst we had initial equipment here, we were always going to try and build on that, and that test rig is an example of building on that capability.
Right. What do you think are the potential for hydrogen in Wales or in the UK?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in the world, let's start with that. I mean, I think realistically that hydrogen technology is one of the significant answers to decarbonising, and also to allowing an improvement in air quality. So and that's an increasingly important thing that we're seeing, that the emphasis is not just on decarbonising, but to pursue hydrogen vehicles for improving air quality. Right. So worldwide, massive potential. It's not easy. It's never been easy. I mean, I say rather flippantly, but I've only been in this sector 30 years, and it's still going. So it takes a while.
It really does.
And not a surprise. We effectively need to replace the internal combustion engine. We're part of growing, so on the hydrogen vehicle side, and on the sort of more general energy usage, it's about enabling renewables and renewable systems onto the grid, and the role that hydrogen can play in that. And then also emerging is this whole sector of hydrogen for heat.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of complex questions about how this all fits together, and we try and play our part in answering that along with others worldwide. So worldwide, a lot of movement in that area. Certain countries, certain regions are proceeding faster than others. And the UK, I don't know, is somewhere in the middle. Not right at the cutting edge, not deployed as much as, let's say, Japan, Germany, California, particularly in terms of vehicles, but overall. But my view often is that if you look at the business opportunity, if you look at the economic opportunity, then sometimes being first is not necessarily the best position to be in, but being a fast follower is a good position to be in.
Right.
And that really underlines part of this idea of the whole setup of this centre, was that it would, as I said earlier, be a catalyst for activity. And that's and in that case, it's very much about trying to stimulate economic activity in the hydrogen and fuel cell sector in Wales.
Right.
That's not just trying to be parochial, it's trying to view activity in Wales as part of the broader UK and European activity. But it is, unashamedly trying to encourage nascent hydrogen businesses to set up in Wales, as they move from their R&D phase towards manufacturing, to consider that manufacturing activity in Wales. And that's so that's why we work very strongly with Welsh Government and try and they might identify a target company and need some technical assistance on maybe doing due diligence or just negotiation or discussion with that company. So we get involved with that.
Right.
But the potential is huge, and because if we're talking about a whole-scale change of our energy system, we're talking about a whole-scale change of our transport system to include hydrogen vehicles, large and small. So that might be scooters through passenger cars to HGVs, but it might also include trains. I think actually that's a very positive sector. That's really a massive change. So as part of that massive change, I think there needs to be, or there is a great economic opportunity as well, and that's why we pursue that here as well.
Right. Any potential opportunities for researchers here in the university to pursue further this field?
Our approach is very much, as is the case in the whole of university research. It has to be, you go through a cycle of putting forward a proposal, you get a proposal funded, you therefore have the ability to recruit researchers. We're on an up part of the cycle, if you like, at the moment, in that we've embarked on something called the Flexis project, which is a large energy systems project that's led by Cardiff University, but we're involved with it for the University of South Wales, together with Swansea University. And that will see some potential for recruitment, and we'll sort of advertise along the way for that.
Right.
We have some PhDs currently advertised alongside our Flexis activity as part of the KES2 programme. And those are particularly looking at different aspects of hydrogen. In my case, looking at trying to separate hydrogen from steelworks gases and optimise the hydrogen recovery from steelworks gases. There are two sort of separate aspects there. But we've got others advertised currently. Okay. But I see more along the way. We're very active in pursuing further funding bids, and realistically we're at the point that all of our current staff are sort of right up to full capacity. So what that means is if we're successful in getting that funding in, then we're able to recruit more. So
Right.
yeah, is the simple answer, but yeah, plenty of opportunity.
It really looks exciting.
Yeah.
I guess last question would be, how would we be able to know more about the current researches here?
Okay, so the best thing, I have to be honest, that the CERC website has got information about our activity, and there's a subdivision of that which covers the activity here. We're very much part of the Sustainable Environment Research Centre, and so whilst we do more industrial based stuff here, sort of later technology readiness, our colleagues in the rest of CERC do earlier research in that respect, up at particularly in the Upper Glentough labs. So all of that activity is on the CERC website. You'd probably pang my conscience here. We could do with updating that. There's also a CERC Twitter feed as well.
Yes.
So again, people can look at that to see the sort of latest things. And we'll do our best to keep that up to date as well.
Right. Thank you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to
no
visit
problem.
you today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Cheers.
Hi everyone, it's Jonas, and I'd like to cap things off today with just a quick recap of some stuff. Today I did a vlog about the Hydrogen Resource Centre at the University of South Wales in Baglan. So I got to see how hydrogen is produced over there, and the researches that have been done, and about, like, we talked to some of my lecturers about the things that we've done in improving the research in hydrogen and any prospects that it may have in the future. Right now I'm in Cardiff Central, and I'd like to say that well, before I came here I actually got lost, because on the way to Baglan Station I actually got lost and walked all the way to an industrial park in Port Talbot, which is around 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. But anyway, I got on the train at Port Talbot Parkway, and that's already enough for me to get to here, to Cardiff. So I'm on my way to Treforest now. The train has just arrived, and I'd like to let you hear this.
Platform number 6 is your Merthyr service calling Queen Street, Cathays, Llandaff, Rhadder, Towswell, Treforest Estate, Treforest, Pontypridd and Station Duxton, Merthyr Tydfil. Train now standing on platform number 6 is your Merthyr service, Cardiff Central to Merthyr Tydfil service.
Yeah, so they just did an announcement in Welsh and then in English that a train headed to Merthyr Tydfil has just arrived, and I'm about to catch that. So hope to see you around, and bye.